So if you've seen Return to Silent Hill, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That ending. It leaves you sitting there in a thick fog of what just happened. It seems to undo everything we just watched. Well, today, we're going to cut right through that fog and figure out the tragic, looping mystery at the very core of James Sunderland's story.
All right, here's our game plan. We're starting with that absolutely baffling final scene. Then we'll hit rewind and dig up the buried secret that's powering this whole nightmare. After that, we'll get face to face with the monsters born from his own mind, understand what forgiveness really costs in this world, and finally, we'll try to answer the big one. Is James trapped, or is he actually free?
So let's talk about the final twist. Seriously, what a gut punch. You follow James on this horrific journey. You think he's finally reached some kind of conclusion, a tragic one for sure. And then bam, the whole thing just resets. It's a move that makes you question everything you just saw.
And that leaves us with the central question, right? Is this some kind of eternal punishment he's doomed to repeat forever? Is it just a Final Fantasy playing out in his head? Or somehow, is this a real second chance? As you know, when it comes to Silent Hill, a simple answer is the one thing you're never gonna get.
I mean, just think about how jarring that is. First, we watch James drive his car straight into Toluca Lake, with Mary's body beside him. It's a suicide. The headlights go out, fade to black. And then, poof, he's right back at that scenic overlook where this all started. But this time, Mary is alive, she's well, and he just drives away with her. A heartbreaking ending is literally erased and replaced with a perfect one. What is going on?
Well, to make any sense of that loop, we have to go back. We have to understand the secret, the repressed memory that dragged James to Silent Hill in the first place. See, the town didn't just invite him back for a visit. It called him back to face a truth he had buried so deep he forgot it was even there. Their story actually started out pretty good, a romance right there in Silent Hill. But then things took a dark turn. Mary gets this strange illness, something tied to a local cult. This leads to a tragic decision, an act that James completely buries under a mountain of denial and alcohol. And what pulls him back? A letter from his dead wife, telling him to meet her in their special place. And here it is. This is the truth he's been running from. Mary didn't just die from her sickness, no. She was in so much pain that she begged him to end it, and he did. He smothered her. He calls it a mercy killing, but that one act is the source of all his guilt. It's the engine powering his own personal hell. Okay, so now that we know that, all the horrors James faces start to click into place. They're not just random creatures. The town of Silent Hill, it's like a giant twisted mirror reflecting his own soul. Every single monster is a piece of his guilt, his denial, or his desire made real.
You can see this perfectly in the two women he meets. You've got Mary, who represents the painful reality he just can't face. And then you have Maria, her lookalike. She's the seductive lie he wants so badly to believe in. She's Mary without the sickness, without the pain, without the guilt. She's the easy way out.
And then there's this guy, Pyramid Head. He isn't some ancient demon the town cooked up. No, he's much more personal than that. He is James's need for punishment, walking around with a giant blade. He's the judge, the jury, and the executioner that James created for himself, because deep down he feels he deserves to pay for what he did.
So all of this, the guilt, the monsters, the choice between Mary and Maria, it's all building to one single point. The climax of this film isn't just a monster fight. It's the final, brutal battle happening inside James's own mind. After all this running, he's finally being forced to turn around and face the truth. And you can literally watch him go through these psychological steps. First, he rejects the illusion. He tells Maria he doesn't need her anymore. And what happens next? His self-punishment, Pyramid Head, shows up and destroys his denial by killing her right in front of him. This forces him to confront his guilt, which appears as a monstrous, moth-like version of Mary. And it's only when he finally apologizes, when he finally says it out loud, that he finds some kind of peace and gets to see the real Mary one last time. Okay, so now we have all the pieces. We understand the guilt, the monsters, and his tragic journey to acceptance. Which means we can finally go back to that final, confusing scene. What was that all about? Let's look at the three main theories.
It really boils down to three camps. First, there's the purgatory loop theory. This is the dark one. It says he's damned to relive his tragedy over and over again as punishment. Then,
there's the dying hallucination. This one suggests that happy ending is just a comforting little fantasy his brain cooks up as he's drowning in the lake. And finally, you have the news cycle theory, the hopeful one. The idea that because he faced his trauma, the town gave him a real, genuine do-over.
And what's interesting is that the film's own star, Hannah Emily Anderson, who plays both Mary and Maria, actually leans into that hopeful idea. She sees it as James earning another go-around, a chance to have that life with Mary back, like a kind of romantic reset.
But then, you have the director, Christoph Gans, who offers a much, much darker interpretation. He suggests that even after facing the truth, James ultimately chooses the delusion. He would rather stay trapped forever in a perfect memory of Mary than face the hard reality of a future without her. And that leaves us with this one final haunting question. In a place like Silent Hill, a town that literally feeds on your mind, is there really a difference between escaping for real and just choosing a more beautiful illusion to live in? The film never tells us for sure, leaving us to wonder if, for James Sunderland, the fog ever really lifts at all.